Before starting my topic, I would like to share something with you. If you have read newspaper or even use FB, we know that there is a conflict in between Russia and Ukraine, and it can lead to war. And Russia is a nuclear capable country. Nuclear capable means it has nuclear weapons. So, and bef- the past incident, we know that nuclear weapons are very much very like it can lead to extinction of mankind also. Like for example, Hiroshima Nagasaki, we all have heard about it. That Hiroshima Nagasaki, in World War II, nuclear bomb was bombarded on that area. And now, till now also, there are few kinds of genetic abbreviation in the generation which are alive. uh, we can see. I'm telling this because it is related to genetics only. If we know that the nuclear weapon, when bombarded, there are large amount of radiation radiate from it, and that radiation is very much harmful for our body. Lakhs and thousands of people, first of all, died. Few who are luckily alive, they are so not lucky, because that people were in touch with the radiation, and that radiation leads to genetic abbreviation. Their chromosome, the chromosome, there are 23 pairs of chromosome, as I told you. In humans, the chromosome, um, abbreviation means chromosome can cut itself, like for example, the 23th 22th number of one of the chromosome get deformed. So it can lead to many problems in our body. So it can lead to uh, death. It can lead to death. Even that chromosome abbreviation comes in the next generation also. Generation after generation, it get passed, as we see in this chapter only, that mm, the parent pass on the characters through genes. So generation after generation, that characters are passed on, and that can lead to the devastation of their life. They cannot live a normal life because of that. So I think there should not be any kind of war, um, with nuclear weapons and all. So I think it today so I have I'll telling you this because of today's scenario. We can relate to this. If war happen, there can be this type of you know um, this type of thing can happen if war occurs. Okay, now I'll start today's topic. So I have told you about uh, Mendel's first law and the second law. That is, first law is law of dominance, and the second law is law of segregation. So first law is law of dominance. That is, what is law of dominance? When homozygous individual means having same type of genes, but both the traits of, look, this is a homozygous condition. I think you can understand. This is a homozygous condition. This is a tall plant. Okay, this is a dwarf. Like, both the traits, both the factors of the characters are same. This is called the homozygous condition. And where there is two different types of factors or traits of the character. This is called the heterozygous condition. So these two are the homozygous. Homo means same, okay, homozygous, and hetero means different. So when two homozygous individuals with one or more sets of controlling characters are crossed, the character that appears in F1 generation is the dominant character. So, as I have told you, if a tall plant, homozygous tall, crossed with the homozygous dwarf, when they are crossed, okay, I have to draw the zygote, no, not the zygote, I'm so sorry, uh, crossed with gamete. This is the gamete. This one type of, only this type of uh, tall, this type. And the first generation is called the F1 generation, that is the filial generation. Okay, so the filial generation, look, tall dwarf, the F1 generation will be all tall type. We don't know the, still we don't know the this genotype. I told you genotype means the genetic makeup, the internal genetic makeup, and phenotype is the what we have seen, that is this is a tall plant, so the phenotype will be tall. Okay, now the F2 generation. Now the F2 generation, F2 means the filial 2 generation. In filial 2 generation, what happened? 3 tall and 1 dwarf. How there is one dwarf plant when there is no dwarf plant in the first generation? So what Mendel has done? Mendel self-pollinated the first generation progeny. First generation, this is the first generation progeny, big T and small t, that is heterozygous tall, and crossed with the same type of progeny. There are two types of gamete formation occur in this, having a, a single factor in its traits. In this also small, this two type of gamete will form. When these two meet, capital T, that is tall type. Now this capital T, small t, this is also tall but heterozygous. This small t and capital T, this is also tall but heterozygous tall. Now this small t and this small t when meet, small t, this is the dwarf. Dwarf is a recessive character, so it will show when it is in homozygous condition. As the law of dominance said, the first generation, the character which is shown, that character's factor will be the dominant factor, and the factor which is not shown is the recessive factor. The factor which is only expresses itself in its, see, double T means in its homozygous condition. So this is the recessive character. So dwarf is the recessive and tall is the dominant character. So I hope you can you will understand that why there is a dwarf plant in F2 generation. Means every character factors are passed on from one generation to another generation. We can see it may hide itself, but it is present. See, like in heterozygous condition, the dwarf character, the dwarf factor will hide itself, but it is not lost. It may show in any of the generation when there is an homozygous condition present. Okay, now receive I hope that. And the second, what is the second law? That is law of segregation. Law of segregation means we have seen that in this case two type of gametes are formed, sm- capital T, small t. It will, all the factors segregate itself, separate itself in when there is a time of gamete formation. It will not stick to a particular, all the factors of the character, only one kind of factor will present in one gamete. There is no such gamete having small t, big T both. Only one character, only one factor of that character will present in a gamete. So this is the law of segregation, that is purity of gametes. What is the law? I will tell you. The law of segregation states that when a pair of contrasting factors, see, contrasting factor having small t, big T, are brought together in an hybrid, the two members of allelic pair are remain together without being contaminated. So small t, big T are present in an individual, but they do not contaminate each other. At the time of gamete formation, it will separate out in each of the gametes. Okay, so it will not contaminate itself when present in heterozygous condition. So this is the law of segregation, or we can say purity of gametes. Now, what is this? You must be wondering that what is this ratio? See, phenotypic ratio, genotypic ratio. I have told you what is the meaning of phenotype. Phenotype means what we are seeing in our eyes, uh, like a tall plant and a dwarf plant will cross, and in the first generation, F1 generation, all the plants are tall but having big T and small t, that is this type of heterozygous condition, but this is tall. So we can see the tall, that plant is tall, so this is the phenotype. Tall is the phenotype that we can see, and small t, big T, that is in the individual, in the genes that we cannot see by naked eyes, is the genotype. Means gene makeup is the genotype, and which we can see is the phenotype. Now, what is this square? How we can cross these in this square? This square is called Punnett square. See, is called the Punnett square. This type of square is the Punnett square. I will try to teach you what is Punnett square. So let's cross two things. Same, let it be small t, big T crossed with big T, small t. This is the sign for male. Okay, we have to draw this. This is the sign for female. Okay, crossed with a male and a female. We have crossed like this, small big T and the small t. Different factors goes to different gamete. This also. or we have drawn. This is the conventional process that we know from the beginning. Tall plant, homozygous tall. This is heterozygous tall. This is also heterozygous tall, and this is homozygous dwarf. Can do, because dwarf cannot be present in heterozygous condition. So we conventionally know this type. Now what is Punnett square? How can we draw Punnett square for this type of cross? So draw a square. Okay. mm, One side male, one side male and one side female. So we there are two type of gamete formed in female. So two type, first type is big T and second is small t. In case of male also two type of gametes are formed, big T and small t. These are the place where we write the gametes. Now cross this T and this T in T T T and T crossed to form a tall. ठीक है? In this T and this T, capital T and small t, this is also tall. In this look, this T and this T, capital T small t, this is also tall. In this small t and this small t, this is the dwarf type. So this is the process of drawing a Punnett square. This is much more like a simpler and clean process. Punnett square. I'm so sorry. Punnett, Punnett square. Heterozygous. I've told you the meaning of heterozygous, Punnett square. Now, yes, right. Phenotypic and genotypic ratio. What is? So tall, 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 and one dwarf. So what is the phenotypic ratio? Phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio is, it will be tall. There are two type of individuals which we can see from eye. That is one tall is to dwarf. How many talls are there in this across? One tall, two, and three. Three tall and dwarf only one. So 3:1 is the phenotypic ratio of this type of cross. Now genotypic ratio. What is genotypic ratio? I have told you. Genotypic ratio means the gene makeup. So there are three types of gene makeup. Three makeup, as we can see. Capital T, capital T, capital T, capital T is to, there is another type of gene makeup, capital T, small t, and there is third type of gene makeup, that is small t, small t. So how many capital T are there? Only one. So one. How many capital T small t are there? One, two. Two. And how many small t are there? Only one. One. So this is the genotypic ratio, that is 1:2:1. I hope I can make you understand this genotypic and phenotypic ratio. And the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Okay. Phenotypic means that we can see from naked eyes, we can see only tall and dwarf plant. So how many talls are there? 3 and 1 dwarf. 3 is to 1 genotypic ratio means the gene makeup, like capital T small t and small t, capital T capital T. How many capital T capital T? 1, capital T small t 2, capital T 1. This is the genotypic ratio. Hmm. Now I will tell you the like the third law, that is the law of independence assortment. So from the monohybrid cross means we have taken only one type of characters, like one type of character, that is we have taken tall, or we can take a round seed, wrinkled seed. Okay, but in from that monohybrid cross we have only we can only postulate two laws, that is law of dominance and law of segregation Okay, so then the third law is law of independent assortment. So this law is derived from another type of cross, that is dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross. This is the monohybrid cross, where one type of character is taken. In dihybrid cross, two characters are taken into consideration. Okay. Consideration. Now, what two characters? You can take any two characters as you want from that 7 characters, but we have let's take um, seed shape. The two factors of seed shape, two different two factors are round and another is wrinkled. Now the second character will be the seed color. Seed color seed color can be yellow and green. So round, this is the dominant characters, and this is the recessive character. We will denote round as R, capital R, and wrinkled as small r, and yellow as capital Y, and green as small y. Okay, now we will do the cross. First, homozygous condition, capital R, okay, round and yellow, homozygous dominants. Okay, let it be male, crossed with small r, capital Y. This is the recessive parent. Gamete will form only one type of gamete will form in from the homozygous condition, having one R from this character and one Y from the other character, and in this case also small r and small y. These two meet and form capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. I hope you can understand this, that when two dominant characters are present, it will show itself. So this this double R double Y, it is the yellow round yellow, and this smaller wrinkled green. So this big R, small r, capital Y, small y, this is round yellow only, round yellow, because two dominant two dominant traits are present from the character, so the phenotype will be round and yellow. Now this is the F1, that is the filial one generation. Now when Mendel self crossed themselves, okay, self crossed themselves, okay, from this two type of male and female, gamete formation for occur. So how many type of gamete will form? Two types of gamete will form. No, I'm so sorry. There are four type of gamete will form from this. One type having capital R, capital Y. This is the one type of gamete. Okay. Second type of gamete, capital R, small y. Second. Third type of small r, capital Y. Fourth is small r, small y. In this also, capital R, capital Y, capital R, small y, small r, capital Y, small r, small y. Four type of gamete will form from this. So this is only the independent assortment. What that, हाँ मतलब जितना भी कैरेक्टर हो, the factors with independent them are independent to the next character. See, the R is independent, it can combine with the small y or capital Y. Likewise this capital Y is also independent, small y is also independent. All the characters factors are independent to each other. They can go randomly to any of the gametes. It's not like it has to go with a small y, or the capital Y has to stick with small r. Nothing like that. It can go anywhere. So this is the independent assortment from he postulated that law by performing this experiment. I have told you earlier, but it's not the case. First he performed that experiment, then he comes to know about the independent assortment law. Now we cannot cross like this, it's very big process. We will draw what? Punnett square. So Punnett square. Now we will draw a big Punnett square. Oh, big Punnett square. Female, male. How many male gametes are there? 4. How many female gametes are there? 4. And they are same. Okay. So capital R, capital Y 1, capital R, small y 2, small y, small r, capital Y, small r, small y 4, 2. Okay, now in here also 1, small y 2, small r, capital Y, and small r, small y. First, these two, capital R, here both are capital R, capital Y, capital Y. So what is this? This is round and yellow. This is homozygous. Round, R means round and yellow. Capital R and small y, here, from here, capital R, capital Y. So capital R, big Y, that is, and small y. This is what type of condition? Where round yellow, this is also round yellow, but the genotype is, see, the genotype is different from this. This is homozygous, this is heterozygous, a different kind of heterozygous. Only one small y is present, not the small r is present. Now small r, small capital Y, and big R, big Y. So big R, small r, capital Y, capital Y. This is also round and yellow, but not homozygous. Now capital R, from this capital R, capital Y will come, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. This is also round and yellow. Phenotype is round and yellow. Genotype we can see. Now in the second, from this and from this, capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y. This is also round and yellow. From this and this, capital R, small y, small y. Now what is this? This is round and small y, means both they are, when there's two small y, the recessive character will show itself. So capital R means round and small y means wrinkled. Oh, I'm so sorry. Green, round and green. Now capital R, capital Y from this, and small r, small y from this. Capital R, capital Y, small y. Round and yellow. Now this and from this, capital R, small y, small y. That is round and small y means round and round and small y means green. Now in the third row, I'll ask you, in the third row, small r, capital Y, from this, capital R, small r, capital Y, small. Capital R means round and capital Y means yellow, round and yellow. From this, capital R, capital Y, small y. This is also round and yellow. From this and this, small r, small y, capital Y, capital Y. That is small r means wrinkled and yellow. This is a different. Now small y, small this and this, from small r, capital Y, small y. Small r, this is also wrinkled yellow. Big Y means yellow. Now come to the last group. From this, capital R, from this, small r, capital Y, small y, round yellow. From this and this, capital R, small y means round and green. Round and green. from this small r, capital Y, small y. Small r means wrinkled and big Y means yellow. And the last, what is the last? Small r, small y, and from this small r, small y. Oh, sorry. Small y, small y. This is the only homozygous condition where all the recessive characters are present. So wrinkled and green. This is one homozygous and this is pure homozygous, pure. This is the recessive character and this is the dominant. Now we get lot of we will have to create phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio. Now phenotypic ratio, there are we get four different type of phenotypes. First is round and yellow. This is round and yellow. Let's round and yellow, one phenotype. Second phenotype is round and green. Look, I have written round and green. Third phenotype will be wrinkled and yellow, and the fourth phenotypic will be the last one, wrinkled and green. How many round and yellow are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this one is 9. 9 round green. This is round green 1, round green 2, and this is a round green here 3 round green. And wrinkled yellow 1, wrinkled yellow 2, and wrinkled yellow, this is 3, wrinkled yellow 3, and wrinkled green only 1. So what is the phenotypic ratio? Phenotypic ratio will be 9:3:3:1. I hope you will understand the phenotypic ratio of the dihybrid cross. Now the genotypic ratio. What is the genotypic ratio? This is homework for you all. Draw a Punnett square and cross the dihybrid cross. Perform a dihybrid cross. You can take any of the characters you want to any of the characters. You can take the height, you can take the pod shape or pod color, sheet color. You can or the flower color, the two types of purple and white. Okay, you can take any two of the character, draw, cross them. This is the F2 generation filial. Okay, cross them, draw the Punnett square for F2 generation, and phenotypic ratio, and from that Punnett square draw out the phenotypic and genotypic ratio. Today's I'll complete this lecture here only. So lastly, I'll tell you there are 3 types of Mendel's law. First is law of dominance, Second is the law of segregation or purity of gametes, and the third is law of independent assortment. So now I'll complete these three laws. There are so much more things in this chapter. I will come to it later on. Thank you so much for watching.